Hi guys, hope all is well. Today we're gonna make a mind-blowing vegan mayo. Absolutely mind-blowing for so many reasons, because most of all it's super quick, super easy. Ingredients are very easy, cheap, and also it tastes really fantastic, and it's maybe not the healthiest thing in the world, but if you are going to eat mayo anyway, this is the best mayo you will have in your stomach from now on, because once you're gonna make it, you will never go to the store and buy yourself an artificial stuff. It's gonna be made with like few ingredients. I haven't counted them, but probably like 5 max. And I'm gonna show you a few options what to do with it, how to make it a bit different flavor, and a few tips if it doesn't set. It should most of the time. It's a very foolproof recipe. However, if something goes wrong, I'll let you know how to fix it, because it's a fixable thing. So it's not a souffle or anything like that. We will be able to easily rectify things if something's gonna go wrong. So let's just go to it. So obviously there is loads of vegan mayos recipes on the market, like on the internet. My favorite one is definitely from the chickpea water. So basically I've got a tin of chickpeas. In my next video, next week, I'm gonna show you how I make my hummus, but not just the simple hummus, because everyone really knows how to make hummus, but mostly how to eat hummus, but that's the next week. Let's stick to the mayo, so I'm not off the subject. So this is a tin of chickpeas. I use dried chickpeas as well, the water from dried chickpeas when I make them for myself. However, it's a bit more tricky and it doesn't always work. So if you want a foolproof mayo, stick to the tin. Nothing wrong with a tin or a jar as well. Sometimes you get the chickpeas in a jar, that's perfect as well. It's recyclable, so it's not too bad. And it's foolproof, like I say, it will always work. So in 1 tin of the chickpeas, we will have a bit more than half a cup. So I've left a bit there because I want to have a half a cup. So usually, you know, me and my measurements, you know, I don't really measure anything. However, to begin with, it's quite good to know, mostly because this mayo will expand, so this will actually be a lot of mayo. So if you put a lot more of chickpeas, the mayo wouldn't have a chance to grow and basically the dish is too small. So we need to have it in a tall, straight away put it in a tall kind of cup, measuring cup or something like that. The taller the better, so our stick blender can get into it. This is really important. So get the water straight away in here, half a cup. And now some of the flavorings, which are quite important. So a bit of a teaspoon of a strong mustard. You can use any mustard really. I just absolutely love English mustard, so I think it's just amazing. So a teaspoon of that. Then we're gonna have some apple cider vinegar. It can be also white wine vinegar, not a problem. Around 2 or 3 teaspoons, but it's not a drama if it's like 2 or 5. You can regulate the acidity slightly later as well. Then I'm going to have a teaspoon of my black salt that we talked about during the egg tofu mayo episode. So this is the salt that gives you this eggy flavor. So this is quite useful to have in mayo as well. And since we already got it in the kitchen, it's nice to keep using the same stuff all the time rather than just for one thing. And my favorite thing ever in the world, B12 yeast flakes. So they're gonna give this a bit of a depth of a cheesiness. So like around 2 teaspoons here. So that's it. So let's recap quickly. Mustard, apple cider vinegar, that's 2, Kalaramak, black salt, that's number 3, yeast flakes, number 4, and of course, first and foremost, the chickpeas, water, aquafaba. Okay, so now I've got everything in here. I'm gonna make some noise, okay? So I'm gonna make some noise by blending them with a stick blender until it creates a bit of a foam. So be really careful because it can splatter around.
So it's already creating a nice foam, so you can probably kind of have a look, but I'm gonna show you in a second. So I'm gonna do it just under a minute, so just under a minute of foaming here. I can already smell the egginess, it's so fascinating. So yeah, so we've got this kind of consistency. So it's just basically foamed up aquafaba to make sure that everything is ready. So now, this is where not such a healthy part unfortunately happens. And you know me, I'm a conscious eater, you know, I love food, and I totally understand that we all have cravings for a bit of a naughtiness in our life, and that is everything, you know, that's from food to, you know, to a occasional drink of wine or anything else you fancy. I'm not obsessed with those things, but I like to avoid things that I don't have to have. So but this vegan mayo, because you've made it, you're already cutting down on so many E numbers and so much toxins that, you know, yes, it's going to be a bit calorific, yes, it's going to not be the diet thing, okay, but at least you know what's going into it, so you can just use it from time to time on your burgers. I hope they my real food burgers, you know, take them to your picnics and things like that, and this is already 10 times healthier than anything else that is shop bought naturally. So there is a bit of a, you know, there's a bit of a compromise here, but it's okay. So now this is oil. So I have got here, I've measured already around 2.5 to maybe 2.5 cup of oil. Now, so we had half a cup of aquafaba and around 2, maybe 2.5, maybe 3. It really does depend how it's going to emulsify. So the thing is, it does thicken a bit more in a, well, actually quite a bit in a fridge. So it doesn't have to be super stiff like your shop bought. I'm not gonna mention the name H1, but it doesn't have to be super stiff because it will stiffen up a bit more in the fridge. But you don't want it super runny because this will probably not get you the consistency you're really looking for in mayo. So we're just gonna watch it. So what's gonna happen now? I'm gonna have it on a medium speed so I don't make a huge mess as always, and I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna start my engine on and then I'm gonna pour in a quite steady stream my oil and I'm gonna see what happens, okay? So I can already feel the blender getting a bit, you know, it's quite slower. It's much slower than it was, so it's definitely thickening up. So now let's just continue. Okay, and here we go. So this is done, guys. Okay, that's all it is. We literally have made a beautiful mayo. Let me just show you. So this is a consistency at the moment. So it is already really nice and thick, but it will definitely get a bit thicker. So now let's put this away. Maybe I can show you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just have my nice and clean jar, stick the mayo in it. So yeah, like you can see, it is running, but it will definitely thicken up a bit. However, if for one reason or another, in 2-3 hours time, this is still running, this is too runny for you, we can just blend it again. And that usually works. So around 3 hours, 4 hours time, 2 hours, you know, whatever time, if it's still exactly the same and you are like, no, come on, this is not mayo, this is like a, you know, a bit of a soup or something, that's fine. stick the blender again in and basically do exactly the same process. That should really help. Now, if that doesn't help, put more oil in. Unfortunately, sad thing, but it's true. So it's basically, that's the two tricks. First of all, definitely try with putting it in the fridge first, and basically the aquafaba will kind of separate from oil and it will emulsify it again. Second thing, splash more of oil, but be very, very careful how much more you're gonna put, because it's gonna probably need literally a few spoons just to kind of get this going. Now, this is just the normal regular mayo. However, if you are fancying something a bit different, if you fancy something, oh, you know, I just kind of, you know, I just want something spicy. So one of my favorite spicy, a bit kind of funky mayos, I call them funky mayos, is kimchi. Of course. What did you expect? I mean, it's me, of course, kimchi. So I add around at the end, at the very, very end, when my mayo is done, I add around a tablespoon of kimchi and I blitz it all together, and it's wonderful. It's kind of fermented, carbonated, spicy, but you can also add gochugaru paste or just chili. How about squeezing a lemon, and that's fantastic with some kind of, you know, fish-ish dishes, or the garlic, of course. And if you roast the garlic, that's going to be absolutely amazing. So guys, honestly, there is absolutely no need to get yourself those weird substitutes full of E numbers and extremely expensive as well. And why would you do that? And you know, don't forget that we have a full can of chickpeas, and we will make amazing hummus next week with some absolutely wonderful toppings, and I hope to inspire you to eat hummus slightly differently than just with the carrot sticks, okay? So until the next time, eat the real food, ditch the fake out, and stay happy.